Yo, what's going on, everybody? What's on Dre's mind today? WWE's Bad Blood 2024. The first pay-per-view of this is the company's first pay-per-view of Bad Blood in about 20 years. It's also the 27th anniversary of the very first pay-per-view, and it's also the same anniversary of the first Hell in a Cell that was introduced to the company and to the world. Premium live event took place at State Farm Arena in Atlanta, Georgia. About 16,902 fans attended the event. 5 matches were on this night. 2 titles were on the line. And the show was hosted by Naomi and the women's tag team champions Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill. Actually, before I go on, I want to say that I didn't do one wrestling show last month. I had a WCW pay-per-view last month, Fall Brawl 93, but I somehow erased the video. It's funny because I had done a video about this pay-per-view and that video somehow got erased. I'm not sure how that happened, but I'm trying to be very careful with my videos in the future. And also last month, I'm a big Oakland A's fan, and I did a documentary of the last 6 games at the Oakland Coliseum. So if you haven't seen that, check that out. It's 6 parts. I just want to show everyone that, our fan base is great. It was never, fans know the problem. It was bad ownership, and Major League is just run by rich people who just don't understand real problems. Also, fuck John Fisher, sell the damn team. Now with that out of the way, I get to the pay-per-view. Commentators for this show was Michael Cole and Corey Graves. And our first match starts off with a banger. Hell in a Cell match between CM Punk and Drew McIntyre. Well, we've come a long way from this. This all started at the Royal Rumble. Both Punk and McIntyre were competing in the Royal Rumble. McIntyre does a Future Shock DDT on CM Punk. Somehow, Punk tears his tricep. Can't compete at WrestleMania, even though the plan was he was supposed to main event and won at night 2 of WrestleMania. So, WrestleMania, what happens at WrestleMania is that McIntyre wins the heavyweight title against Seth Rollins, gets his WrestleMania moment. Of course, because when he won the WWE title at a WrestleMania, it was during COVID, so he couldn't celebrate in front of fans. This year, McIntyre gets his moment. He's free. He goes in front of CM Punk. CM Punk attacks him. Damian Priest, of course, cashes in to win the heavyweight title. Punk and McIntyre, they trade barbs. McIntyre gets a shot at the title match against Roman Reigns at Bash of Berlin. Punk screws him over. McIntyre gets very personal with Punk. Takes a friendship bracelet that was made for Punk, AJ Lee, and their dog. They wrestle at SummerSlam with Seth Rollins as special guest referee. McIntyre ends up winning that. And it gets personal where Punk wrestles McIntyre at the last pay-per-view. And Punk ends up winning that match. And then McIntyre makes things even more personal by not only taking back the bracelet, but also tearing it apart and shoving it down Punk's throat. And they want to sell things tonight in Hell in a Cell. This match, Hell in a Cell, wow, I mean, this was bloody, brutal, banger of a match. There's a lot of back and forth. A lot of these guys, Punk used his finisher on McIntyre. McIntyre used his finisher on Punk. They both kick out at the 3 counts. There was a bit of a botchy moment. I guess you could call it a botchy moment. 2 Box was brought in. Punk used it on McIntyre, busted him on the top of his head, which required, I think, about 12, 15, maybe 16 stitches to his head. McIntyre was really gushing blood. It was really bad, but it added to the match. McIntyre has Punk beaten. He goes to a sack and is actually believed to be some thumbtacks because, in the past, thumbtacks have been used in the Hell in a Cell match. But instead, it turns out to be bracelet beads that resembled the bracelet Punk had with AJ Lee and his dog Larry. McIntyre dumped the beads on Punk's head and is going to finish off Punk with the Claymore, but Punk moves out of the way. McIntyre lands lands on his lower back on the steel steps. Ooh, that's pain. It was really brutal. Because this gave Punk time to tie a steel chain on his knee. Punk took a handful of bracelets to get back at McIntyre. Puts it in McIntyre's mouth to get back at him for what he did several weeks to Punk. Punk then lifts up McIntyre. They go to sleep with the steel chain wrapped around his knee. 1, 2, 3. At 31 minutes 25 seconds, CM Punk defeats Drew McIntyre. This is a 5-star match. I mean, 5 out of 5. This was an ass-kicking match. This had everything. It's been a while since we've seen a Hell in a Cell match this brutal. After Hell in a Cell at King of the Ring 98, Hell in a Cell matches were kind of toned down a bit. But they had to kind of go back to it a little bit. This will never, actually no Hell in a Cell match is ever gonna counter that. In the second match, Nia Jax defends WWE Women's Championship against Bayley. Well, this is an interesting situation. Nia has been buddy-buddy with Tiffany Stratton, who holds the Money in the Bank briefcase. Bayley, who lost the women's title to Nia Jax at SummerSlam, thanks to Tiffany Stratton, has been trying to get the title back from Nia Jax ever since. However, there's some growing tension between both Jax and Stratton. So let's see how this works out. The match itself, it was fine for what it was. There were some botchy moments. Bayley, she tried to use her speed against the more powerful Jax, but Jax pretty much dominated a good portion of the match. There was a moment where Bayley tried to powerbomb Jax from the second turnbuckle, and Nia Jax, she tried to do a Hurricane Rana on Bayley, but it just didn't come off well. Even though Nia has tried to will herself into a better wrestler, and she's done a great job. But it's okay to try new things, but this didn't turn out the way as he expected, and you got the result that you got. Also, there was another botchy moment. Nia Jax has always done a pop-up Samoan drop, and while it's not really known who messed up where, but Nia Jax popped up Bayley, and Bayley couldn't quite land on Nia's shoulders, so they had to adapt to it. They had to do the best they could with it. At the end of the match, Bayley hits a pop-up stunner on Jax, but fell on the referee by accident. Bayley hits her Rose Plant finisher, but can't get the pin because referee's out. Tiffany Stratton runs out and attacks Bayley, and it seemed like Stratton wanted to cash in on Nia Jax, but Nia was able to sit up and see Stratton. She asks her, "What are you doing?" He said, No. He said, No, I'm not going to cash you. I'm just trying to help you. This almost costs Jax the match because Bayley tries to roll her up, but only gets a 2 count. Jax recovers, hits Samoan drop, and hits an Annihilator to finish Bayley off to retain the title. I give this match 3 out of 5. There was a botchy at some points. Stratton kind of helped things matter, kind of helped elevate things a little bit. But the match is fine for what it was. As for Stratton trying to cash in, it's not a matter of if, but it's a matter of when. The match time was 14 minutes 10 seconds. In the third match, it's Damian Priest versus Finn Balor. So we have more of the Judgment Day explodes, and you have 2 of the top guys in Judgment Day facing off each other. This match, it was cool. It was a cool match, but let's be honest. Finn Balor hasn't been booked really well. He's kind of been like a jobber of the stars, and this match kind of proved it. I think it was kind of a foregone conclusion that Damian Priest was going to win this, but I'll explain the match anyway. Priest pretty much took control of this match due to his size, but Balor, he came back, did his thing. The match comes to an end when Carlito and JD McDonough try to help interfere. Priest hits a scoop de grace at least twice, gets a near fall. He goes for it for a third time. Priest hits a South of Heaven chokeslam on Balor to win the match, to beat Balor. I give it also 3 out of 5. It was a hard-hitting match. It was actually great, but it was, like I said, it was kind of obvious that Priest was not losing this. Balor, he's kind of been a jobber of the stars for a while, even though he's one half of the tag team champions. I'm not sure what this goes on to next, but let's see what happens with both men.
Brother.
You.
Who's that? You?
Yeah, I'm talking on the camera.
Oh, not YouTube?
YouTube, yeah.
Beautiful, man.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
Yep.
I was wondering what this always been. This is my first time here.
Okay, this is the backyard.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's that?
What, this little thing?
Yeah.
Oh, it's like a makeshift garage.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, man.
All right.
Hey, the Yankees were upset.
Yeah, they lost that one.
Man, I'm no good. If I was to bet, I'm no good.
And I'm back. That's my roommate. Next, we have Triple H coming out for a major announcement. Well, it turns out that the next event will be the Crown Jewel at Saudi Arabia, and he announces that both men's and women's world champions will face each other at that event. While both titles will not be on the line, there will be one title on the line, and that's the Crown Jewel Championship. And this belt looks really nice. The Blood Money pay-per-view, that's Vince McMahon's deal, not Triple H. He's kind of stuck with it. Well, this brings out Gunther, and he notices Goldberg out there, Atlanta Georgian, play for the Georgia Bulldogs, play for the Falcons, and Goldberg, who was with his son and wife. Gunther insulted Goldberg's parenting skills, and Goldberg came over to hop the barricade to confront Gunther. As this was happening, Sami Zayn comes out and attacks Gunther, which had build up for their match at Raw for the World Heavyweight Championship. This was kind of like a big hype thing, you know. It hyped up Crown Jewel, it hyped up Goldberg possibly facing Gunther in the future, and it hyped up the heavyweight title match. In the fourth match, it was for the Women's World Championship. Liv Morgan defended against Rhea Ripley. This all started when Liv Morgan came back. This is when Rhea Ripley was still in her reign as champion. Liv Morgan did a sneak attack, which unfortunately forced Ripley to vacate the heavyweight title. And Liv Morgan ends up winning a tournament to become the heavyweight champion. And at SummerSlam, Liv, with the help of Dom, ends up retaining the Women's World Championship, and Dom ends up turning on Ripley to be with Liv Morgan. And we've got a lot of back and forth fighting. Liv Morgan attacks Ripley's knee a few times because their match at Bad Blood is really important. So Ripley makes a deal with the Raw GM, stating that Dirty Dom must be in a shark cage suspended high in the air. Let's see how that turns out. This match, I say 90% of it was good right into the end. And I'm going to explain that. Now, Morgan, of course, she attacks, goes under Ripley's knee to get an advantage. But Ripley, you know, she overpowers Morgan through this match. Mysterio was able to unlock the shark cage, but he falls out, but gets his foot caught on a chain. After hitting the riptide of Morgan, Ripley decided not to pin Morgan, and she goes under the ring, gets a candlestick, and starts whacking Mysterio like a piñata while he's hanging upside down. And remember when I told you that 90% of the match was okay until the end? Well, this is where things get really screwed up here. As Ripley is whacking the hell out of Mysterio, Raquel Rodriguez, who had returned after a 7-month hiatus, attacked Ripley. As a result, Ripley, she wins the match by DQ, but, you know, titles can't change hands on a DQ. Rodriguez had to, she hits Shakina Bomb on Ripley and tries to put Morgan on top of Ripley, but then you could tell by her face that she's like, oh damn, something got screwed up here. So they had to go with the DQ finish. Yeah, so Ripley defeats Morgan in 14 minutes to retain the Women's World Championship. But remember I said about Bocce? I think, this is my opinion, I think what happened was Rodriguez, she was supposed to interfere, and she did everything right, except I think she came out too early because the attack happened in front of the ref. And the ref, of course, he can't ignore it, so he had no choice but to call the DQ because he can't just see what DQ going on and then say, oh, well, I gotta make the count anyway. So you had to call an audible. So there's that, and I'm not sure how they're gonna figure this out, but they'll figure these out in the future. Give it 2.5 out of 5. The match was fine, but the ending really killed it, and that's it. In the main event, it's a tag team match between undisputed WWE champion Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns facing off against the team of Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu representing the Bloodline. There's a lot of history between both Reigns and Rhodes in Atlanta. Of course, Reigns, he's the son of the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. His father's roots are in Atlanta, Georgia. The Omni was a very popular place that used to showcase wrestling. It was one of the best places in Georgia. Of course, WCW was here too, NWA. A lot of alumni here tonight. And yeah, there we go. As for Roman Reigns, he played football here in Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. Growing up, he's got some lineage here too. So that's what I want to say. As for the match, it was a fine tag team match. I mean, it's just way to extend the Bloodline feud going on. At the end of the match is pretty insane. On the outside, Rhodes hits crossroads on Fatu and jumps off the top rope, hits top rope splash on Fatu through the Spanish announce table. Sikoa and Reigns are exchanging blows before Reigns can land a Superman punch on Sikoa. Before he hits the spear, however, the tag team champions Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa distract Roman Reigns so Solo can hit a spear of his own, but only gets a 2 count. And just when it looked like Reigns was finished, a hooded person comes out, attacks both the tag team champions, the man of mass, and it's Jimmy Uso, who came back after a 6-month hiatus. So his injury for 6 months has been completed. This gives Reigns some time to hit the spear on Sikoa, gets a 1-2-3 to win the match. At 25 minutes 50 seconds, Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns defeats Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu. After the match, Reigns and Uso embrace each other. Rhodes and Reigns share a moment of respect. And as Uso and Reigns leaves, the Bloodline attacks Rhodes. And Uso, after some convincing, gets Reigns to come in and help save Cody Rhodes. After that's been stopped, The Rock makes an appearance. He comes out to the ring, doesn't say much. He gives a 1-2-3 reference, gets a throw slash gesture, and leaves. And that's the end of the pay-per-view. After this match, I give it 3 out of 5. I mean, it was a solid tag team match. The Rock was kind of expected to be there, and he did. He showed up, and pretty much this is opening up to the Survivor Series War Games match. I say original Bloodline versus new Bloodline. So let's see how the team's going to set up and see what happens. Okay, the aftermath. Cody Rhodes is about to do a post-show conference, but Kevin Owens confronted him. The two argued. Owens attacked Rhodes, and Owens has turned heel. And to be honest, I like him better as a heel because it just works for him better. As for the whole show, I give it 4 out of 5. It's a pretty good show. I mean, the opening matches are great. The opening match is great. The main event is pretty good. In between, it's kind of meh. Best match and worst match. Best match, I give it to Hell in a Cell. CM Punk, Drew McIntyre. You can't beat a better opening match than that. Well, maybe you can, but the opening this show was pretty good. Worst match, I have to give it to Ripley and Morgan. That was a cool match. The ending got totally screwed up, and I'm not sure how they're going to fix that, but let's see what happens. But what do you think about Bad Blood? Was it great? Was it good? Was it like meh? Like and subscribe to this channel. It will be Andre's Mind next. Had to wait and see. Peace out, y'all.